Okay, everybody. Mitchell and Angel here. I'm going to do this while I'm feeling somewhat decent, and I'm going to fill your eyes with visions of Angel because right now he's looking and feeling better than me, and he's cuter. But I just want to say, Happy Easter, Happy April Fool's Day, and please pardon my pubescent sounding voice. I'm lucky I have one. I got sick a couple days ago, I guess it was, and it's been a roller coaster ride. But, this video might turn out a little long, I'm not sure. I'm going to share my story as much as I can. And it's a long one, and it's a lot, and it's pretty much, I've resolved why people run away from me and why they don't date me and all this nonsense, but I don't care. So, usually when I do this, which isn't often, because when people actually get to know me, they like me, and when I tell my story, a lot of them run for the hills. I lost a really good friend, last year? I don't know, whatever. She decided to get distant and run away, and I know I mentioned that in one of my previous videos, but it was a really bad thing for me because I really let her in and she just said sayonara and took off and disappeared. And I'm not sure where this video is going to end up. If Facebook cooperates, I'll put it on Facebook. If it doesn't, it'll be on YouTube and I'll put the link here. Anyway, let's get started because we have a bit to go over. I was born 10 and a half weeks premature in 1978. Yes, people, I'm giving you my age, okay? But it's fine because I don't look my age anyway. So, when I was born at, I guess that's about 6 months. I suck at math, but yeah, it's about 6 months. And I spent a month in the incubator, which is actually pretty good. I was also a twin, but my twin was miscarried before I was born because my mom worked as a nurse, and she was dealing with a non-cooperative patient, holding down said non-cooperative patient, and lost her baby. And that's something that I've been told pretty much for my entire life, which is fine. I'm good with that. I'm glad to know that I wasn't always alone in this world. And I believe that my twin has kept me out of a lot of trouble. So, here we go. I was born, when I was born, there was no medication or shot. There's a shot now that gets the goop out of the baby's lungs when it's born. When I was born, they didn't have that. So, I had all this goopy crap in my lungs, and I was also very, very, very early. So, I had a lack of oxygen, and it affected my legs in the way that my muscle strength was affected. I had weakness in the legs and no balance, which means I had to hold on to things to walk, and I used a walker and a wheelchair when I was young. My gait was very similar to somebody with a mild form of cerebral palsy, if anybody is familiar with that, when I used to walk. But I used to do everything. Everything. I would carry TVs, I would carry aquariums up and down stairs, I would carry big, heavy microwaves, I would move furniture. I was just like, I was badass. I miss it so much sometimes. But, okay. So, sometimes it's hard for me to remember that. When I went to school, I went to special ed school. There wasn't integration back then, really. In fact, I was one of the first in my district to be fully mainstreamed. I was fully mainstreamed by second grade. And then pretty much they turn you loose, and you don't have an aide or anything in school. You're just kind of on your own, just like any other student, and they turn you loose and say, good luck, kiddo. But the one benefit to regular school, to special ed school, is that they wouldn't let anybody out without having at least a grasp on one good subject or skill. Mine is reading and English and literature, history, things like that. I'm awful still to this day at math. Terrible. I am so grateful for calculators. And as a way to cope, it's just so happened that I always have some very, very intelligent friends who are good at math and things that I just totally suck at. It's like they're just placed in my path, and it's like, here, this person will help you with this area in your life that you're not good at. So you're not alone, and you can deal with this. I was bullied all throughout school for pretty much anything somebody could think of to bully me about. From my nationality to, mostly that, at that age. My nationality to my wheelchair, to my walker, to my glasses. I used to get beat up by other special ed students because I wore glasses. Come on. Yeah, that happened. They would scratch me to death and break my glasses and throw them around and all kinds of lovely things like that. I'm inspired to share that with you guys because I just watched a video that I posted about Lady Gaga and some of the stuff that she went through. So, after school, I chose not to go to college. I'm briefly going through some of the major points in my life because this video would be like hours long. If you guys have any specific questions that you want to know, please ask me. I love it when people ask me questions respectfully and actually want to get to know me. I love it. After high school, I chose not to go to college because I was just done with school. I had such a hard time. And I wasn't just bullied by students. I was bullied by teachers too. Freaking grown adults that should know better. And I have a couple of angels in my life. But one in particular was my English teacher. And at the time that she came into my life, everything was falling apart for me. My parents were getting divorced, or were divorced, or separated, or whatever. And I was fighting with my mom, and my father was, and still is, unfortunately, an alcoholic, and he's got brain injuries from DUIs and accidents and crap like that. So this was some of what was going on, and they were telling me, you might not graduate junior high school because you're doing so badly, and we're going to hold you back. And the problem with that was I had absolutely no help in school. No help in school, and no help after school from my father or the person he was with or anybody. And as a result, I got into lots of trouble that was pretty much unwarranted. Somebody should have been keeping an eye on me, I think, or looking out for me. 'Cause I was only 12. Come on. But they were noticing things, and they would just say, take care of yourself. And I'm like, take care of myself, I'm 12. And so I got sent to the principal's office every day. And I had to sit there. And one day she came in and she's like, what are you doing in here? I was like, I was an A student in her class, so she couldn't fathom why I was in there. I didn't get into trouble or anything. I was really shy and introverted. And I'm saying this because she's probably going to watch this. She's on my Facebook, and I've told her this a few times, just because teachers, they don't get enough credit for everything. So she said, don't worry about any of it. I'll help you. I'll take care of the buses. I'll take care of everything. You come hang out with me after school, and I'll help you with your math homework. So I learned math from my English teacher. And it's because of her that I graduated junior high school and went to high school. After high school, things calmed down. I wasn't picked on because lots of people were pretty much like me in high school. I was told this later on, that people liked me. I had friends of all kinds, from the cheerleaders to the football players to the cholo down the street. Everybody. Because I never made them feel bad about anything. And if they needed help with something in school, I would help them. And not make a big deal out of it. Anyway, I went through some turmoil after high school. I went on this self-destructive path because I just didn't feel right inside. And I didn't know what trans was back then. And I just knew that nothing that I was a part of felt right. I've always known that I was different. I've got very vivid memories of doing very male child type things from about the age of maybe 5 or a little younger. But that is that part. And I might make 2 videos. I'm not sure because this is already 15 minutes. Because the other one will kind of talk about when I got hurt or things that I did before. Like, I was an athlete growing up from about the age of 6 years old to 19 years old. I was in the Special Olympics, and then I went to wheelchair sports camp with about every sport you could think of, and all the counselors, or the majority of the counselors, were also in wheelchairs. So those were the role models that we had. It was a really awesome thing. When I was 19, I was too old for the program, and I felt just kind of lost, and I was wandering around trying to be a hero for people, and on a very self-destructive path, and just trying to find what was wrong, because I always felt like something was wrong, and I didn't know what it was. I've lived in a few different states. I've been to 48 out of 50 states because my parents were truck drivers. They drove 18-wheelers. Let's see. I was pretty happy with my life. I moved to Oklahoma eventually because I had a friend there and things weren't going too great in my life. So I gave that a try. And I've been to Oklahoma a few times, briefly, and it's never gone well. One time I died of heat stroke, and this time I got hurt really, really bad. And I think I will put that in another video for you guys, so that if you want to skip through parts of my story and just hear part of it, or take a break and come back, you can do that. So thank you for watching this and taking an interest in my life, and have a good day, night, and many blessings on this Easter weekend.